this at this time.
Thanks indeed for staying with us. The program is still this morning on ITV, broadcasting from your darling station, independent television, located here, as I will always tell you, at the hilltop of Mpape district in the nation's capital city. I am Iharawata. It's now time for us to talk aviation here. And indeed, you know, when we come to talk aviation here, we got the aviation freak here. And as you know, the last time they looked at issues of financing and funding key infrastructure in the aviation sector here. That's one major thing here. It appears that we are not getting correctly, or we have not gotten correctly, or are not prepared to get correctly when we look at how we want to run our aviation sector here. Quickly, let's quickly get the details of our guest on air so that we can explain to you. So if you want to make contact and discuss with him, because like we always want to tell you, the program is it's not a monologue here, but a dialogue here. He wants to interface here. He wants to give the lecture, tell you more about aviation, because it's lot important when you fly. You know what you're flying with. Our guests for this morning. On this program, regular guest on this program here, the one with the passion that burns fast, a deep flame from the inside here, is Mr. Godwin N.A.K. Can we have that on the screen, please? If you can have that on the screen, that will be okay. Thank you very much. Those who want to please quickly get his contact, that's the comment on the screen here. His name is Mr. Godwin N.E.K. Some call him Goddy E.K. He never mind about that here, but that's just stay within the same person, loving aviation here, beyond measures here. The phone number is there on the screen. The email address, goddyek@yahoo.com. You can reach him. If you feel you want to really make more search to find out who he is here or what he's doing here, you go to the website there and check at him. Then you go to this YouTube channel here and follow him, Aviation Freaks official. Then you can tweet at Aviation Freaks. You're welcome to the program for this day.
Thank you very much, Tata.
Thank you very much. You're talking about, I was telling you about what I saw in Beijing here and the issue of funding infrastructure here when it comes to developing the aviation sector here. It's something that's very key here. But somehow, before we go into where we stopped before, are we getting it?
We are not doing as well as we should.
Here the world is running and we're still just
first of all, you must know that technology is a moving high-speed train. It has no brake.
You know why I laugh?
No.
When we came down from the airport at the Beijing, from the plane at the Beijing airport here, and we checked it, and we just saw a train to take us over, pick our luggage. And hey guy, I was arguing with someone, saying, hey guy, please, let's take our time. The driver will not be in a hurry. We started hearing the train telling us, everyone outside, please come in. This movement is delayed. So we now entered it. I said, where is the driver? I said, this is not. It's not a man train. It's not a man train.
Yes.
Just take you.
Yes.
And we move almost from where we stopped, maybe like from this point here to almost AYA to pick the luggage. And the train got there. He just talked to us that we should come down. And I quickly checked around. Nobody managed.
Oh, yeah, of course, everything is automated.
These guys are gone.
The technology is a high-speed train. Has no brakes.
Someone call it supersonic.
Oh, sure. It has no brakes. As a matter of fact, if you get on board, it takes you along. If you decide to stay on the platform, it passes you by, has no time to wait for anybody. So if Nigeria as a nation is standing on the platform and waiting for some individual to open up the door and say, hey, Nigeria, please come on board.
And then I give you a red carpet.
And I give you a red carpet, you step into the train and move. It's a big lie. It won't happen, and nobody has time for that. We've got to make a choice as a people and as a nation and begin to get serious and join the moving train. It is a moving train. It waits for no one, will never wait for anyone, and it's moving without brakes. Every day, new discoveries are made, and you're talking about automated train. That's an old version. There are more intelligent ones right now. They do everything automatically, including change of tracks. You move from one end as you are approaching, because you have already set a program of where you're going. The intelligence system in the place activates the shifting of track from one point to the other and routes you to where you're going and gets back for another one that is coming. This is where technology has gotten to. If you want to know, Atta, I'm ashamed of what we're doing here. We have very intelligent people in this country, very intelligent people, Nigerians, all over the world, including my own son, who is a cardiologist and the best at it. So, I do not know why we can't get our acts together. Now, talking about infrastructure and what you saw in Beijing.
And I told the FCT minister that these guys have gone away from pedestrian bridges. All the bridges are just under it.
Here you go.
No bridge on top of anywhere. All the bridges have to go.
First of all, I want to let you know that Nigeria has made so much money over the years, so much that Nigeria should have been one of the countries described as Singapore, described as you would describe Beijing, China,
Malaysia.
and described as you can describe Malaysia, you know, the Kuala Lumpurs of the world, describe as you can describe Dubai of the UAE. And we've made so much money, but you want to know, we fooled around and messed with ourselves, stealing and stealing and stealing, and never tired of stealing money that we do not need, but leaving the infrastructural development that we should put in place. And what's more, the world has gotten to a point, Atta, where you do not really need your own earnings to do infrastructure. Your earnings should be in putting other things in place for the comfort and happiness of the citizenry, right? Infrastructure is something that you shouldn't nationalize anymore. Anybody that's got any long-term fund anywhere can come into any country, develop infrastructure, have them running, make their money out of it according to agreed number of years, leave them behind there and move on. Train our own people, our own engineers, and who can, the various aspects of engineering, who can maintain this stuff. Leave us alone with our stuff, and when we learn the discipline of getting it done.
Let's come back to where we stopped before here. Look at our financing infrastructure in the aviation sector.
That's right. Last week, we got up to page 11, but what I'm going to do is, in order to refresh the memories of viewers who are following, we'll start from page 10 and run it quickly to page 14.
Okay, let's get page 10 quickly.
Get us page 10 and let's get on with it right now. It's saying establishment of infrastructure concession regulatory commission. This is an awesome organization that people thought through and put in, government in Nigeria put in place in 2005. Well thought out arrangement, but I tell you, 70% of Nigerians do not know that this is existing and what opportunities exist in this organization. So, establishment of Infrastructure Concession Regulatory Commission, ICRC, in order to ensure that the provision and financing of infrastructure in Nigeria, especially the aviation infrastructure, provides more opportunities than threats. Remember, we are dealing with financing and development of aviation infrastructure, threats and opportunities. So that's where this came out from. So provides more opportunities than threats. The federal government of Nigeria, in her wisdom, established the ICRC in the year 2005. The ICRC Act 2005 provides for the participation of the private sector in financing the construction, development, operation, or maintenance of infrastructure or development projects of the federal government through concession or contractual arrangements, and the establishment of ICRC to regulate, monitor, and supervise the contracts on infrastructure or development projects. Let's go to 11, please.
Clip 11, please. Clip 11.
Yeah, there we go.
Clip 11,
the ICRC Act is an awesome and robust piece of legislation. If well implemented, there is no reason any infrastructure should be unattended to in Nigeria. Some of the interesting provisions that contractors and business proponents can take advantage of include, number one, Part 1, Section 1, Subsection 1 of the ICRC Act provides that the project must be financially viable. Number two, all investment and development projects in Nigeria are up for grabs by anyone or corporate body with financial capability to perform. That you find in Section 1, Subsection 2 of Part 1 of that Act, the ICRC Act of 2005. Now, number three, by Section 11 of the same Act provision, all agreements made with the Commission are sacrosanct. No one can arbitrarily suspend, stop, cancel, or change the infrastructure concession agreement That means certainty of contract. This is the only place we have this kind of arrangement in the laws that I know in Nigeria, where you have certainty of contract. Nobody would wake up one day.
How certain is it?
Well, the law is there. If somebody decides to break the law, take the individual to court and get judgment and get yourself some claims. I mean, anyone who gets appointed to the position of minister or DG or whatever, and you choose to break the law by suspending, a well-signed agreement, you pay a price for it. That's why the courts are there. And so there's certainty of contract, and I hope that those who are managing them will remain responsible and present us to the world as a responsible and respectable nation. Now, number 4, contractors are guaranteed right of way and easement in any site they are dealing with. That you find in Section 13. This is just, these are just a few of them that I chose to highlight. It's a robust law that anyone could just go to the net, take a look at it and see how you can take advantage. It's up for everyone, including you, Atta. You can go to ICRC, choose any aspect of infrastructure development, get yourself partners from abroad, and it's all yours. It's all yours. Yeah, that's the way it is, and a lot of Nigerians do not know. That's what I'm revealing to Nigerians, free of charge, by the way.
And somehow, if you're lucky, you become the chairman. You become the company's chairman anyway.
That's right. Page 12, please. Let's move on, because time is not our friend at this moment.
That's the 12.
Threats in the financing and development of aviation infrastructure in Nigeria. Now, we've seen some of the opportunities, but let's look at threats. Threats associated with the financing and developing aviation infrastructure in Nigeria are also found in the same awesome and robust ICRC Act 2005. Some of the sections include Part 1, Section 2, Subsection 2 of the Act provides that only the Federal Executive Council can approve each project. Political considerations and inclination can adversely affect decisions. Those are the facts. Cannot arrogate to themselves the full knowledge of all the infrastructural development
when any memo comes to effect, everyone deliberates, even those who know nothing about it.
That's correct. And so my recommendation is that federal government should learn to set up committees of experts in different aspects of our infrastructural development, and make sure that anytime that anything is going on, you send the documents to them to take a look and then advise FEC, and then FEC will then approve. So that is one of the recommendations I'm making to make it better, because this is one of the threats. So threat number B, those in the Executive Council cannot arrogate to themselves the expertise to understand all the technical and economic feasibility and viability of projects. It's the truth.
They likely don't. They likely do not even know.
The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. It reminds me of...
Yet they will be the ones who that deliberate and take decisions.
It reminds me of in those days when we had the 11th African Aviation Summit in Nigeria, and the then Honorable Minister knew absolutely nothing about aviation, but of course was there as the Honorable Minister. And I remember asking a question concerning the BAC 111 that crashed at the time in Kano, belonging to EAS airline, if you remember that incident, or rather that accident. And then, of course, based on that, all BAC 111, the Russian airplane, you remember BAC 111, were grounded. And I had to ask the minister, say, Minister, tell me something. Would you describe any airplane that's successfully and sincerely undergone a D-check as an old aircraft?
If you know what a D-check is.
That's the problem. I didn't get an answer to that question. I was told, if you want to know more, come to my office. That was the answer to my question. And of course, I got a standing ovation from all the foreign attendees of that program when I asked that question. They got up and were clapping. They gave me a standing ovation for that question. You can't describe any airplane that's undergone a D-check as an old airplane. You cannot. So, grounding them because one crashed was an overreaction. So, and then of course, got Nigerians lose their jobs. EAS went down because all their planes were all BAC 111 and also. We can't be doing things like this in this country. We cannot. We must have people who are knowledgeable to run our systems, and then when something goes wrong, we find out where it went wrong and plug the hole, make sure it doesn't happen again. That's the way it works all over the world. Ours shouldn't be different. Now, let's move on. C, we're still dealing with the threats.
That's true.
Provision for supervision by relevant government agencies is a threat. Did you hear that?
That's true.
Provision for supervision by relevant government agencies is a threat. Supervision should be done by experienced professionals in the relevant fields. That's my recommendation. Let's go to 13 very quickly.
13 quickly.
Threats in the finance and development of aviation infrastructure in Nigeria continue.
Okay.
D, the ICRC Act 2005 is robust. It is obviously not being fully implemented nationwide. Otherwise, there is no reason for any road, power plants, seaports, airports, canals, dams, hydroelectric power projects, water supply projects, irrigation, telecommunication, railways, etc. to suffer in Nigeria. There's absolutely no reason. And I urge my viewers who are watching, please find time, get to my blog at www.aviationfreaks.com, or get to YouTube, just type in the name Godike, and then select financing of aviation infrastructure. Then you see all we did from page 1 up until page 10 that we started today, so that you can follow through and know everything you need to know. Everyone can participate. Go to ICRC and be sure that you get one.
But first of all, you have to know that ICRC has an office in Area 11.
That's right.
At Gariki, close to National Council for Women's Society, or close to the FCDA, close to AGC. You must know the location there.
See how we
are, can easily access it.
See how we're advertising them, and yet they haven't paid a dime for this advert. Well, but it's all for the good of
for those who want to actually bring in investors.
That's correct. That's very correct. Then we've done that. The photograph, okay, is off the screen. Let's do conclusion. Okay. Page 14. Page 14 will give us a conclusion, and then here we go. In conclusion, I say distinguished ladies and gentlemen because this was actually delivered at Ataka, presented at Ataka, the Abuja Transport and Aviation Correspondents Association at ATACA, 2 weeks ago. My followers insisted that they wanted to see the papers, and I said, okay, hold on, I'm going to present it officially, through our channel, and that's what we're doing now. So, in conclusion, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, may I inform you that I have a list of over 20 serious-minded infrastructure development investors worldwide who can simultaneously take up investments in our aviation and other sectors' development in an enabling environment, if an enabling environment is provided. That's all they need. Okay. A responsible government with a responsible enabling environment and keeping the terms of contract all the time. Make it sacrosanct. Not one individual, especially the ignorant ones, wake up one day and say, I don't want this agreement, I don't agree with it, and you throw it into the garbage bin. That is irresponsible. We can't go on this way. Now, you may want to know, I tell you, my organization is in court with one of the ministers for this kind of behavior, coming to power, getting to hear about some kind of agreement, not bothering to call the parties concerned to see what your worries are, and you jettison the thing and then take the contents and begin to do your thing. And that's a 500 million, I can't tell you more, because it's a 500 billion intellectual property suit on that. We can't go on this way in this nation. We've got to put an end to these nonsensical things and then begin to behave like responsible people and move on with in building our nation. So 14 is yes. We just the first paragraph. Yes. Let's get back to that. And then paragraph 2, infrastructural development in Dubai, UAE is a typical example of the kind of rapid transformation any nation can experience when she opens up herself to foreign investments. The newest international airport in Senegal was built without a single dollar from the coffers of the Senegalese government. At least, if nothing else, ICAO told us that in 2017 when when they had their first forum outside Canada since 1944, and Nigeria was lucky to be the host of that forum. And that's here we go. At the Abuja ICAO Forum of 2017, we were informed that aviation development funds were available out there. I attended, I registered, it was expensive, I registered, and I heard everything. I recorded every word that was said on that forum, and I can play it back for anyone, anytime, any day. Now, we were informed that aviation development funds were available out there. We only need to put our acts together and access them. The threats and opportunities identified above can easily be isolated, updated, and put to work for the benefit of our aviation sector.
But if they are to be, those in government, how sure? Because when government is said to be a continuum only verbally, and when it comes to practical issues like agreement reached and agreement entered into, you see government not even keeping to its conviction, how will you trust a system like that? That
is why you and I are making this patriotic noise we're making on TV.
No, you are calling people to come in to invest in our own system, bringing your money in here. You can recoup it via some charges, via whatever, via toll.
Yes.
But we have some agreements entered into, like the one in Abuja here, the Centenary City that was entered into, almost died. Some other agreements entered into, we are even killed, dumped, and some we are even chased with the EFCC. How then do you encourage new guys to come on board, buy up this lecture Mr. Gordy Ike is delivering here, and come spend their money in infrastructure when this money runs into billions of dollars?
Yes, that is where the consultancy part of it lies. Yes, we are doling out free information, but there are a few very salient and important ones that are still under the table. When they consult us, we will tell them how they can survive an environment like this. So until then, we are waiting. Anyone who wants to know how to survive under this environment.
So you are saying that if we want to grow this critical sector of aviation in the country, that investors watching us now from across the world can come and put their money here?
Oh, sure. Yes. Definitely yes. Definitely yes. As a matter of fact,
the question I always ask is, when government come, what they see are pharaohs who do not know Joseph.
Now, what you must know, Atta, is that it's not enough for a nation to choose a path of irresponsibility. There are forces outside, legally speaking, that can get you back on track. But the point is that they don't just come. You invite them. You file in your report and invite them to come, fight for your interest, and then they show up, and of course, ultimately, the government in power must do what is right. So these are the other aspects that consultancy can achieve for you when you want to invest. So I call on investors, come on here. Some of us are still here. We will tell you how to survive and navigate around this kind of environment. And what's more importantly, those that are saddled with the services of holding sway at different ministries should learn to do what is right and be lawful. That's most important of all. We do not want cases. Let's see page 15, so that we can just thank our viewers.
Page 15, before we go, our time is almost up.
Yes, and I am saying thank you. Big thank you to those viewers out there. I remain your international aviation freak, the only one in the world, proudly from Nigeria.
Proudly made in Nigeria.
Proudly from Nigeria.
Proudly made in Nigeria.
So here we are. That's all I got for.
So let's hope that after going all through this, as some of us who are around here, sometimes if you're watching us, you don't know how much you can do here. And someone has said very clearly that every human, and most humans don't even use up to 10% of their God-given potentials while they pass through the earth here. You see people coming that they are chairman of some companies, not chairman, but chairman of some companies. These are guys who go out, get the foreign investor, and when they come in here, they give you the title of being a chairman because you're the one who brought them in here. And for what it takes, if you are a big man going forward, what you need to do is to put your brain in charge, go do the scouting, get the investors to bring their money in, and you become the chairman. Just leave them with their managing director, CEO. You become the chairman and the big boy of the firm.
Oh, of course. That's a way of building wealth. And unfortunately, no one is deliberately canceling and advising Nigerians on how to build wealth. The banks are not doing even any better. All they ask you is bring deposit, bring deposit. But in other climates, you walk into a bank, somebody takes you into a private room, sits you down, asks you questions, find out your capacity, and give you, direction and directives of how to grow your, and get higher from the level that you are. You have private bankers talking to you. All the struggle is to create wealth and build wealth. Over here, what we find is banks say to you, bring us deposit. What they do with these deposits, only God can tell.
Okay, I want to ask Mr. Gordon a question about what we'll be looking at for next week, but I will leave that, let's leave that private here, so that by next week, when we come here next week, Monday here, to talk aviation, Monday at 8 a.m. here, let's do it again. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you very much.
I wish you a very wonderful Monday, a very wonderful working week.
I wish you all the same. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Godwin NEK Aviation. Freak, we take a break. When we return from the break here, we look at the conventions here. The APC guys we are in Abuja, while Atiku did some flogging of some big guys in Port Harcourt after this break.
As you wake up in the morning, the first thing in the mind is knowing what is going on around you.
Follow and get an up-to-date analysis on issues on governance, politics, economy, among many other current and burning issues in both local and foreign scenes.
The parliamentary intra-party opposition to the APC.
Well, the intrigues and interest in parliament is not just about the policies of the party.
The issue is, irrespective of the fact that the level of income has gone so low, people still need to feed.
Yes, people have to feed, but they have to feed and they must visit market.
The general belief is that one has